Hello, everybody, and welcome to the year that was. I am Travis Berardi with today's interviewee, Clear Fork girls basketball head coach, Scott Sellers. Coach, thank you for joining us today, and welcome.
Thanks, Travis. Thanks, guys, for having me. Great watching you this year. Great work.
I appreciate it, and I appreciate the little gifts that you gave us. Little certificate calling me Ron Burgundy. I think that's hilarious because I'm a big fan of Anchorman. The picture of them, and I think the best part is the socks. I am definitely going to wear these on our basketball broadcast next season. But I do want to pick something at you. In the certificate that you gave Brian Skoronsky, it said you need to get Travis a better mask. I'm a Mountaineer. I'm from West Virginia. As you can see down here, I'm a Mountaineer through and through. You're not going to get that mask away from me, man.
I tried to, with the team, I tried to personalize most of those. And so we would watch you guys, depending on where you were, baseball, softball games, going back to the basketball season. I always saw that you had the West Virginia mask. And so we will certainly, knock on wood, never have to see you in that again. But if for some reason we do, you will have a new one next year. I can promise you that.
Okay. We'll see about that. But anyway, sticking to with what we had last year, it was your first year. You guys went, I believe, 6-11 from what the MOAC site had, 3-6 in conference. In your first year, how difficult was it? Your first year at Clear Fork, trying to get everything going, but you didn't have a summer. You had a little bit of fall practices, but with all the restrictions due to COVID, everything was changed.
Yeah, being a first-year head coach is certainly you would like more time. I told most of the kids during the season, Travis, that we could talk about the quarantines that we went through, the missed practices, and we did. We certainly had some. We had 2 quarantines. We had 3 pauses in play for some of our key players due to injury. And then I look around and I see, senior didn't play until late December. Shelby had multiple shutdowns. There were far more restrictions on some of these other teams. So even with what we experienced, we probably experienced quite a bit less than other people. And I always tried to keep that into perspective with them. I think that it was an easy year to make up a lot of excuses for not playing well, not doing this or that. We tried to not do that. Just because we knew we were in the same boat as everybody else. And in fact, I think that our administration, our AD put us in a situation to really make the best of it. So I think, knock on wood, I think we were pretty fortunate with where we were during the process when I look across the landscape of Richland County teams.
Yeah, and I would agree with you with that, but you did start the year pretty tough. You didn't have Becca Conrad for the first few games. She was in quarantine. You had a couple others in quarantine. But despite those temporary losses, you guys were competitive to start. You dropped your first 2, but then you knocked off a Fredericktown squad that ends up being the 4 seed in the Division III Central District. You were in every game pretty much in the fourth quarter, dropped a couple of those contests. But like I said, despite some of those players not being able to play for the first few weeks, you guys were competitive to start.
Yeah, we were. So when I look at our top, 7 players last year, 6 of them were freshmen, sophomores with a junior minutes wise. We were returning 8 lettermen, and most of those girls last year were first year lettermen for us. So we were really young. I don't know that we knew how to close. I don't know that we coached well enough for them to close. I think it was a combination of a lot of things. Not having a big off season because I got brought on October 15th, and I think we started practice October 23rd. So a shortened season coupled with not a summer like other people, coupled with a very, very young team. We would play super hard for 3 quarters. Game got tough. I don't know that we reacted to it the best every time. I think out of 9 of our losses, we were tied in the fourth quarter of those games. So 9 of those losses, we were within striking distance in the fourth quarter. In 6 of those, we were within 2 with 2 minutes left, and we had all losses there. So I think that it was a blessing in disguise to go through that, to understand what we need to do to get better. Because I think at some point when you play these really good teams, they all play pretty hard. And then it comes down to, can you dribble, pass, shoot, execute? Do you understand what's going on at the end of the game? And I think that we're really looking to add on that this summer.
Yeah, and you know what? That blessing in disguise, like you just said, it kind of helped out because once the calendar flipped, you guys were even more competitive. You guys seemed to be peaking at the right time. You had a very big battle against who ended up being district runner-up Shelby at home. You lost 42-40. You guys are playing, it looked like your best basketball down the stretch once you had everybody back. And like you said, with these younger girls having so much time put in those first few weeks.
Yeah, it's listen, I think Shelby's going to be the barometer for everybody in the county next year. They have three seniors who are just fantastic. They have a freshman that's going to be a sophomore. She played JV last year, really, really good. We went down there, we got beat by 30 something, and it was our only 30-point loss of the season. I think we learned a lot about ourselves that game. We tried to kind of preach some things that we learned in that game, and we went in the second game with a better game plan. I think we were more prepared to play a team that I firmly believe will be one of the best teams potentially in the state, for certainly in the county next year with what they have coming back. That said, we also finished the year playing an undefeated Loudonville team, very, very tough. We were within striking distance, late in the second quarter, which with how they played against us, I'll take that. We played Cardington really close. I think we were within 4 going into the fourth quarter. They ended up undefeated, going to districts, losing late. A Harding team that lost one of the best players that we played all year in Uriah Douglas. And then a Mansfield senior team that I think was like us. They peaked at towards the end of the season. They got on a roll and, won sectional. So, I like our schedule. I like the fact that our AD scheduled us some really competitive games. I think we have a lot of those competitive games coming back this year. And it's why we're in the gym now. We're playing a 3-on-3 league. We have a summer league going on. We're going to multiple shootouts, and we have a camp at the end of this month. So, the kids are wanting to commit in the off season, and I'm certainly going to do, and our coaches are going to do whatever we can to help them and get them in the gym. Even if we have 1 or 2 kids that want to work, I'll certainly open up the gym for them, whenever we can. And I think that's what it takes, Travis. I think, and I said it multiple times last year, a lot of the games that we played probably weren't lost in January. They were lost right now for last year. We run up against some very, very skilled teams last year that they don't become skilled October through January. They're doing things May, June, July, August, and then they get into season. They're just ready, and they're competing at a high level. And I think that's where we want to be. And this year, I think we took a pretty good first step towards that.
Yeah, how good of a feeling did you have? I know it was a tough loss against Mansfield Senior. It literally came down to the last minute before they got a couple big buckets to pull away for the 4-point victory, I believe. But just the feeling of, if you pull that out, you played Ontario tough. You're maybe a couple possessions away, and then a game against Ontario from actually being in a district semifinal. And with what you guys just went through all season, I mean, you guys came that close.
Yeah, we did. And again, I think, to use what I said earlier, a blessing in disguise. I don't think we were ready to win. I think that you learn a lot reflecting, even as a first year coach, what I could have done better, what I think we could have done better as a coaching staff. And, I've taken a look at that through the lens of, there are several areas I think we could have improved upon to put the kids in a better situation. I think it's easy to blame the kids being young and not having a ton of experience, but I think that you go through cycles of that. And I think you just got to be honest. I try to talk to the coaches about just being honest on what we could do better. You're right. We had a lot of close games, and it's like everything else that I do, or you do, or what I'm trying to teach these kids in life is, the things that you fail at, what did you do wrong? And you just do an after action kind of evaluation on, what you did good, what you can improve on, and, what kind of things that you need to do to get to that next level. And, we took a very honest look at what we did, and we're starting to implement some of those things. And I think that it will start to pay off, not only next year, but in the years to come. We had a, youth camp for the first time in a couple years, like many teams. And we 58 kids come. We wrote a letter to the parents thanking them for having the kids involved. Our soccer program and our softball program, those coaches have done such a good job in building such a strong program. So we are talking to these parents now because we want to get that feeder system and youth kind of movement going. And it feels like we got a lot of momentum there. And I think if you look around the landscape of your perennial teams in Ohio, Fort Loramie, Berlin Highland, locally, the teams like Shelby that are always good, Ontario boys that are always good. They all do similar things, which is they're super involved in the community. They have camps and outreach, and the kids just like playing. And we're trying to emulate some things that people we respect do very, very well.
Yeah, and I mean that's exactly the way you need to go if you want to build, I guess, like a dynasty like Berlin Highland. Is to you got to get to the younger kids and get them invested in what you guys have. Now, moving forward, putting a bow on last season, now moving forward to next year, you lose only 3 seniors, but some really key pieces. Morgan Galco, who was one of the top assist leaders in the MOAC, Josie Schwanner and Hallie Gottfried, who also added some big points for your squad. But you do get a lot of young talent back. You'll get Becca Conrad back, the first team All MOAC player for her senior year, and then a lot of juniors come back. You have Davis coming back, a lot of other perimeter threats. Now that what you've seen on the floor, you've had those younger girls get that experience, and now you have this summer to get everything in. What's the plan for the rest of the summer leading into next season?
Well, as you know, and you mentioned Becca Conrad, she averaged 15 and a half points, close to 9 rebounds a game for us last year. I think against senior in the sectionals, she had 26 and 18. She's obviously a very important piece of what we do. She just got to the state finals in shot put. She's a great kid. She's 6'4". She's very physical, and we're going to rely on her for a lot of things. That being said, every good team that I see does have certain pieces around it that require more than just that one person. And I like some of the ones that we have coming. I got, Livia Davis and Annika Labaki. That's a junior and a sophomore this year. Livia has lettered twice. Annika lettered as a freshman, and they're both gym rats. So I have to kick them out of the gym. They want to get in the gym 6 a.m. every day of the week. They both want to get in tomorrow morning when we've had stuff all week. So, when you have kids willing to commit their nights and their mornings because they need to go to sleep and they want to wake up and get to the gym and shoot and do ball handling, I think between them, they've got up about 60,000 shots since April 1st. It's incredible the work they're doing. It will pay off, and they're working hard. So, I see a lot from those two coming. I also have a couple other girls. Pacey Christina had a really good year for us last year. She's going to put in the work. We have Lily Wortman coming back, who might play harder than any kid I've ever seen, who was, I think, second minutes on the team. A lot of people don't know about her, but she was absolutely just an animal when it comes to defending, playing hard, just doing all the little things that we need done. And then we got some nice role players that are coming back, like Kylie Belcher, lettered as a freshman, Trinity Cook senior, Bella Molina senior, who I think not only coming back as lettermen, but they have a year of the system that we have in place, a lot of the summer stuff. And I think they're developing into really good friends. And I think that makes just a massive difference when it comes to playing on the floor. And we have a couple freshmen coming up who I think are going to be really important pieces to our program, and in Lily Weichel and Mel Blueball. The Blueball family's had several athletes go through the system, and Lily Weichel plays basically basketball all year, travels, does AAU, and we expect big things from both of them as well. So, I'm super high on our team next year. Obviously the work starts now. But I know that they're going to compete, and I know we have some games against some teams next year that are, they're going to be really tough games. I've mentioned Shelby; they are so good. Cardington might have one of the best Division III teams in the state. They have 7 returning seniors. Several of them are all Ohioans, and the way they play and scrap and claw and the success they've had, I could see them certainly making a deep run. And I think Loudonville, while not in our conference, it's in just another top notch. It'll be a state ranked team there with the younger Vermillion girl who was, I think, 3rd team All Ohio last year, which she's got 1st team All Ohio written all over her. So, again, the MOAC is tough. I think out of conference, our schedule is very tough with the likes of people like, Lexington Senior, Madison, I think is going to be good. So, we're really looking forward to it. We're fortunate, and I think that we're going to have a normal basketball season next year. So we're just super excited.
Yeah, and I mean, the excitement being there is it's the first step in having a successful team, is having kids that are just excited to get back out there and wanting to get back out on the court and put it on over the summer. You gave me pretty much every player that's going to be on the team next year, but other than Becca Conrad, who's a couple players that not only you're going to be mentioning throughout the year, but everybody in the area is going to be mentioning? Who's a couple players to watch for?
Certainly I think that Annika Labaki will be, she'll be a sophomore. She's learning how to handle the ball better, but she's put in so much work that I think that she could get 20 to 30 in any given night. I think Livia Davis is going to be outstanding, filling in as most likely our point guard, kind of the future. Her defense is incredible. She works very, very hard. She's got a great handle. She shoots it well. She gets to the basket well, and she competes hard. So, I'm pretty high on her, and Lily Wortman, again, she's our junior, kind of our does everything girl. I would take a player like that. I would take 5 of them every year. I think that she's going to be one of those that might not be 18-7 person, but I think she could get 12-5, or I think she could get 5 and 19 rebounds in a game. And, I think she's going to likely lead us in minutes. I think she's that good to where we're going to rely on her in and out, basically every game.
All right. Well, it's only mid-June, but I know, November can't come soon enough for you guys, the Clear Fork Lady Colts, who have a lot of potential going into next season. All right, that'll wrap things up. Coach Scott Sellers, I appreciate you taking your time, your busy schedule with camps and everything. So I do appreciate you coming on with us.
Yes. Thanks, Travis. Thanks, Ohio Report. You guys do a great job. Thanks for having us on.
All right, no problem, Coach. That'll do it for this episode of The Year That Was. Make sure to stick with the OH Report all summer. We have a lot of fun things planned for you. So for now, we'll see you later.